in Woburn. I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and I'm excited that Lindsay Higgins is joining us again, who is our city clerk, and we're going to talk all things election. Welcome, Lindsay.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you on because I don't know about you, but I feel like October is flying by. And I don't know, summer was here, it feels like a week ago, and now it's gone, and the election is less than a month away.
It is. It's the whole summer flew by, I think, and September definitely was a little quicker than expected. But yes, we have the elections right around the corner, and early voting and absentee voting by mail have already started. So we're in the full swing of things right now.
Awesome. Let's talk about early voting. So, early voting, where is that being held right now, and what are the dates that that's available?
So in-person early voting is October 23rd and 24th. So Saturday, Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here at City Hall. So people can come on down and they can come to the rotunda. We'll check you in, and then you can vote in the council chambers.
Awesome. And then the absentee ballots people have requested, or we're mailing ballots more broadly like we did last time?
So it's different from the state this year. So one point I want to make about in-person early voting. This is the first time we're having it for a municipal election. We opted to do it this year kind of as a first try to see to help people out also with COVID. So we're going to try to see how it goes this time around, and we'll reevaluate it going forward. It sounds like the state wants to have it all the time though, so that's what's different because it's a municipal election this year. For mail-in voting, mail by ballot, they were calling it too. So last year, the Secretary of State actually sent out cards. We are not doing that because obviously it's a municipal election. So people can request a ballot. The application is online, and you can get one in person at their office. You can also get it online on the city clerk's website. Under Municipal Election 2021, there's a couple of links on the right-hand side you can click, and you can get an application that way. The link actually takes you to the Secretary of State's website under the Elections Division, where the same application is located.
You just saved me a trip to City Hall because my 23-year-old who is away at school and I were just talking about I needed to go help them get their ballot. So now they can go online and fill it all out. So
yep, as long as we see that signature, it's always helpful to have that on there. So they can do that. Again, they can also mail out to them the ballot. So with the one difference between the mail-in by vote which is early voting, and the absentee voting, absentee can actually be done in the office, but you need to have an excuse. So even though it's the same application, you can fill it out in person. One, we can have you vote right there, then and there, and the other one, we have to mail out the ballot.
Perfect. That's really helpful. We have a lot of contested positions in this municipal election, so it may not carry the same weight as a presidential election year, but there's a lot going on in our city. Can you kind of just step folks through who is on the ballot? You don't have to list the people necessarily, but the positions that are on the ballot, that would be great.
So for the ballot is, even if it's not contested or not, for the ballot, we have the mayor's race, which is at large, school committee race, which is at large, alderman at larges, as well as each ward alderman. And I just want to make a note, even though the legislation has passed, changed the word from council to alderman. Alderman is what they pull the papers under. So we want to at least keep that on there so that the ballots were printed that way, so people wouldn't get confused. And going forward, I'm sure there'll be some kind of learning curve with that. But we are voting for alderman, mayor, school committee, and alderman at larges.
Excellent, thank you. And so there's obviously we choose one mayor, we choose two city aldermen at large, and then there's one for each ward, so everybody has their
for the council members, the aldermen. Yep, there's 7 wards.
And then for school committee, there's 5. They'll have 5 positions, up to 5 positions that they vote for. Is that correct?
Yep, up to 5, and there's 6 people currently in the ballot, and you can always have write-ins as well with any of those positions.
Perfect. Thank you. This has been that's really helpful. Make sure we get it all right. So knowing that we have quite a lot going on, and we'll have a full election day, hopefully. What is our typical turnout for an election like this here in Woburn? I know it's not where we would all love it to be.
No, and COVID might play a role in it since it's still, lingering around. We thought we'd be in a different place last year at this time, but So typically when there's a mayoral race, when there's a contested mayoral race, it's about 40%. So in 2009, it was just over 40%, 40.8. 2013 was 39.2%. And then a couple of years ago it was 25.8. So we're thinking about 40%, but hopefully I would love to have more than that. Because we were 80% for the presidential, but there's usually a significant drop off.
Yeah,
For
I would love
presidential
to
and municipal.
see that, but I'm not sure that that's realistic. But Woburn, we can do 50%. We can do it. I know we can. And our local elections are so important to our day to day. All elections are important, but this certainly is important for us. So I'm excited to see that. Now, assuming we get, let's say we're on the higher end, let's say we get the 40%, or maybe we break some records or some recent records anyways, and we have a really good strong turnout. When will the election results be known and everyone notified of that?
We should know the unofficial numbers that night. It depends on how many things come up that night, but we absolutely should have it that night. Usually, Bill Campbell, my predecessor, never left until they were done, and I don't intend to do this. I intend to do the same thing, so we should have it that night, and then obviously it needs to be officially ratified and everything like that.
So, am I correct that once it's notified, it's at the polling locations, it's like physically printed and posted, or how do people find out that evening about the?
Yeah, so in each polling location, at the open and close of polls, you can have people be there to. It's open to the public, so you can be there to watch. Obviously, there's barriers for safety reasons and for election integrity. There are barriers, but they post them that night. Usually, they have a sheet, a printed little sheet. And they post it on the walls. They tape it up on the wall for people to look at the results.
Awesome.
And then afterwards, they'll be posted on the city's website as well.
Perfect. One time I had the pleasure of going down and seeing it, and there was just something kind of exciting about finding out right then, right? I know we all will know soon enough, but.
I mean, I do have some experience with that. I only had to go to one polling location at some point in my political career, so I understand what you mean. It is nice to see that the tape, and I still keep pictures of all that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. That's really great. On election day, are there any safety precautions for those who will be voting in person? Will we be asking people to have distance in lines or masking or anything that they should be aware of?
So with respect, obviously we want to respect everyone's right to be safe while voting, especially when they're doing their First Amendment right to vote. So what we are doing, we are following the city guidelines with regards to masks. Currently, the mayor has set that policy. So if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. And if you aren't vaccinated, you're required to wear a mask. So obviously anyone who wants to wear a mask is more than welcome to wear one for safety concerns. And obviously the poll workers were allowed to do that. Well, probably still has a lot of the safety measures we did last fall for the election. But we will do for the polling booths themselves, we'll be spreading those out. We will have, some of the poll workers be, cleaning those poll booths as people use them. So we'll spread out have those same spread out conditions as we did before. You'll still see some of the partition dividers probably in some areas if people want to use them. So we want to keep both our poll workers and the public at large that are voting safe. Hand sanitizer, obviously.
Yeah. Well, we should all use hand sanitizer all the time anyways. I don't trust how well some people wash their hands in the bathroom. So it's my new normal. So let's talk about your volunteers. So the polls are largely run by volunteers, which are really an important. I think they might be compensated, but they're
compensated. So they're compensated here.
Yeah. Are you at this point staffed? Are you still looking for volunteers to join?
So no, we do a process long in advance. So I believe in August, we sent the whole list out to the city council and they approved it. It's usually, I can't remember if it's September or August. I mean, August or July at this point, but August, I think. So they were approved, including alternates. So we have, we're coming to the process now where we're confirming with everyone if they can still be there, if they're still available for November 2nd. If they're not, then we substitute in an alternate. So right now, I think we're currently fine right now. But again, things come up, but we'll be able to plug people in.
Awesome. That's great. Glad to hear that. We always have a great group of people who support us and such. Um, my just last little question for you, Lindsay, is I know it's up to individual candidates to do their own campaigning. Obviously, as a city, we want as many people to participate in our election process as possible, as good sort of citizens. Is there anything, I'm assuming on the website we have the list of the polling locations. If you don't know where ward you're in or where you go, it's listed. Anything else residents should know?
One big thing I want to mention is tomorrow is actually the last day to register to vote for the municipal election. It's funny how this coincided. So tomorrow, our office, the city clerk's office, will be open till 8 p.m. So if people need to do it in person, they can come to City Hall. Only for that matter, though, only for registering to vote. Myself and one of the other staff members will be there to register you to vote. You can also register to vote. There's links on our website, our city clerk's website, the Secretary of State's, but if you go to register to vote ma.com, you can register to vote right there online. So that's a big thing. And then obviously getting out, you'll see more signage around town as elections come up. But you'll see some, you'll obviously see more candidate signs coming up right now too, because they're posting all their yard, the yard signs, lawn signs. So hopefully, and if anyone has any questions, they can feel free to contact our office at 781-897-5850. That's the main office line. Any of the staff members can help you.
Fantastic, Lindsay. Thank you so much for joining me. It's such a person. I'm got my fingers crossed, my toes crossed. We as Woburn to get closer to 50%. I really hope to see it. I love it. I think there's been so much interest in supporting our community, and this is such a great and important way that all of us can participate, no matter what our busy lives are bringing us.
We really do, and I think that the local level municipal elections really impact you more than you think, and impact more of your everyday life than necessarily people at the state or races at the state or races even at the national level. So get out there and vote. November 2nd, the polls will be open from 7 to 8 p.m. So 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But hopefully I'll see everybody out there.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lindsay. And as always, Woburn, please continue to take good care of each other and make sure you're registered to vote.